Before we begin, I need to search your person. Best to get these formalities out of the way. Is this really necessary? I'm afraid so. Turn around, please. Now that's out of the way, let's move on. Render you.
It's my day off flexing. No eyes on my wrist. No eyes on my wrist.
Oh. Some of your hotcakes. Wow. I mean, if I... Maybe I should... Yeah, let's say it. Let's say, yeah. Make it more like... open. I'm sorry, miss, that I never... That's quite enough of your silly jokes, Aaron. Anyway, let's not forget why we are here today. To celebrate your mother's birthday. It's such a very important occasion for all of us. So you are so dear to us, Malcolm. Indeed, happy birthday, Father. Let's hope it will be one to be remembered. Doing the deed. Now it's time to quickly plant any items. Any items. So you can plant more than one. Simply under the desire room and select the items in your inventory. When you're ready, enter the drawing room to do the deed. Okay. So... Oh yeah. There's work to be done. Okay. So it's left over there. And I have the candlestick. Should I talk to people? Okay, we seems okay. So let's do it. You see Jennifer staring out the window ahead of you, lost in one of her strange moods. She hasn't noticed you. Enter the drawing room. Now is the time. Whack. Oh, bare hands. So you can use two pieces of evidence and use your bare hands. Oh, interesting. Creeping up behind your sister, you take out the candlestick and feel the weight in your hand. Somehow it feels heavier. Now you think about it, you're raising it high above your head. Your head, bring it down with some force on the back of her head. It is enough. She slumps noisily to the floor in front of you, blood seeping from her head wound. You drop the candlestick on the ground behind her corpse. You need to get out of here before someone comes to investigate. Okay. So I'll go back up to my room. Oh. It sounds like my deed has been discovered. Dun dun dun. The deed. Oh, I even got the dog here. Okay. So Good evening, everyone. I am Chief Inspector Winston Lewis. I understand that this is a difficult time for your family. You're damn right it is. I want to know what you're going to do, what you're doing, wasting time in here while my daughter's killer is still out there. Well, Mr. Bruce, we have found no evidence of forced entry. And nobody was seen entering or leaving the house. It would seem entirely possible then that the killer is in this room. What? No. That seems highly unlikely, Inspector. Perhaps it is. However, in order to follow protocol, I have to interview each of you in turn. Mrs. Bruce, would you like to meet me in the library first? I suppose so. Uh-oh. Keep it cool. Interview, keep it cool. Thank you for joining me in here, Mr. Bruce. I'm sure this won't take long. Before we begin, I need to search your person. Best to get these formalities out of the way. Is this really necessary? I'm afraid so. Turn around, please. Now that's out of the way, let's move on. Interview. As you know, I have already spoken to everyone else who was present in the house at the time of your sister's death. Well, also now completed our initial search of the house. But we're gonna get to that later. Let's start from the beginning, shall we? First, I'll run through all the activities since your arrival. The med says and a butler arrived shortly after 7 o'clock. As agreed, you got it. Because you had a good time to the family. No, I never said that. It's no secret that I detest my family. I meant that my family doesn't like me. I mean that my family doesn't like me much. What I really meant to say is that my family are not good terms with me. It's been a years and I choose to leave my family home. Oh, of course, I understand. Later you want to speak with me again. Which is curious. Why did you decide to visit the kitchen? To see if dinner would be ready. I was angry. I don't know. Dinner would say. That makes sense. Studied this book for your father and his temper. I want to make sure I don't abuse her. Yes. See, I always had his temper. Yes, always. Let her conversation with your mother, Gloria, and Pallor. Mother said she had to bring a topic of his sister, but you were unwilling to talk about her. I want to see my sister. I tell her to say my sister could suffer. I didn't trust my mother would tell me the whole story. I suppose that's terrible. I went to see your father in the library. The conversation became quite heated. My father's always had a temper. Yes. You said that he's a violent temper. Absolutely. I see, that's good to know. We discussed the prospect of you moving back to the... You refused to do so at any circumstances, sir. Of course, I already made my life elsewhere. My father fails to accept the fact that I have my own life now. I can't just move back here. Of course not, that's completely understandable. More importantly, I understand your father that you discovered something about his will. And you care to elaborate then? No. Yeah, we discussed my disinheritance. I found out that he intended to dishonor me. Does that mean your sister would have received? No, I suppose so. Do you realize it gives you a motive? Perhaps it does, but I didn't kill her. Let's see. Let's discuss the color system. About the sounds about her. He told me I was a bully. He told me that you made that job. Believe cold and heartless were the words he used. I see. Interesting. Did you speak to your sister before dinner? Yes, I did. Let's see, what did you discuss? Nothing at all. She insulted me and I left. It was brief, as most conversations of my sister. She called me a rat. And not wanting to be insulted further, I soon left the room. Did that make you any? To be honest, I was used to it from her. Let's move on to the events that took place during dinner. I understand that there was an argument involving the butler. You felt he was being treated unfairly. My family all stood up for my service and my family treats them like dirt. Indeed. It was good of you to do so, Mr. Bruce. At one time point, made an accusation that made and your sister were in some sort of relationship. Mom was certain there were. It seems obvious to me. Oh my god, I'm so tired. The way those two were carrying on. My parents are just oblivious to it. You believe your sister must be in the relationship with me? Almost certainly. Interesting. Now I need to ascertain your location of the time of your sister's death. Where were you when you heard the man scream? I was upstairs and I was in my old bedroom. I was in the guest bedroom. See, I see, thank you. As I said earlier, we have completed our initial search of the property. We found a poem written by your sister, which appears to clearly express the romantic feelings toward the maid. However, from where we found the poem, there's no reason for us to believe the maid was aware of those feelings. And judging from the manner of your sister's death, I think we can rule out suicide as one option. I'm curious about the murder weapon. I understand the candlestick used in the attack will belong to your mother. It's all very interesting. I'll be completely honest with you now, Mr. Bruce. Your behavior this evening has given me cause for suspicion. Also, I must regard your father as a suspect, even though the evidence is far from conclusive. I also think the evidence surrounding the maid might be worth another look. Oh, despite any question marks about your mother, I don't think for a moment that she did this. Okay, so nobody did it. Given the weapon that was used, obviously suicide is not a realistic possibility. Now as for what happens next. Uh-oh. Am I under arrest? Uh-oh, Mr. Bruce, unless you want it that way. Oh my god, did I fail? Well, I think I have some more further questions for your father later. I think another interview with the maid will be required also. So who? Who? You and your father were both taken in for questioning? You did your best to convince them of your innocence and of your father's guilt. However, the police soon discovered that you had an obvious motive. What our sister did from the moment that you were the prime suspect. The trial was a long, difficult one. Finally, the jury you're guilty of your crime. You were given life sentence for the murder of your sister. You will be spending the rest of your life sleeping behind bars in your dank little cell. There was nowhere to hide or escape from the nightmares when they came. The deed itself has taken possession of your soul. And perhaps this was her final revenge. Okay, so I fail. Interesting game. Oh, no. No credits. Okay. Interesting game. I guess it like you have to decide who you want to frame and what way you can frame them. It seems like there's a lot of options. For $1, I would say it's a decent game. I wouldn't have bought it because I didn't even know about it. No idea how this came into my Steam library. So yeah, I'm already looking into the next game that I've actually found another game, a walking simulator game in my Steam library. I have no idea how it got there, so I'm gonna try that one on next time. But for now, I'm gonna vape you out. Have a nice day, bye bye.
It's my day off flexing. No eyes on my wrist. No eyes on my wrist.